So next we have the Vice City Next Gen Edition. So for those that don't know what this is a load of developers from Russia got themselves together and they built a remastered version of GTA Vice City, which people are saying is a lot better than Rockstar's Definitive Edition, which, let's be honest, isn't hard because that was crap. But yeah, looking at it, it looks absolutely incredible, and they have done some amazing work. I think the big issues from Rockstar's perspective is that there would affect the sales of the Definitive Edition because it's a direct competitor to the Definitive Edition. And the other thing was that it was packed full of unlicensed music. They just ripped all the audio from the original game. Now, one of the big selling points was that it was in GTA 4's game engine, which meant you got things like ragdoll physics and all of that stuff, and it was really impressive. My public stance on it has been that whilst I think it's absolutely incredible and they're amazing developers, being someone that owns digital content like videos on the internet, if someone just stole it and re-upload it, I wouldn't be happy and I would submit a copyright claim. So I can't take the stance of like just ripping someone else's music and redistributing it free of charge. I can't really take the stance of that's like being a morally good thing. And a lot of people kicked off with Take-Two for taking down Revolution Team, the team behind it, taking down their YouTube channel. But I also understand that because once again, they're using the Vice City logo and everything. So whilst I think from like me as a GTA fan, absolutely love it, absolutely incredible. But then me as an adult that has a bit of background with copyright stuff, I think that Take-Two were well within their rights to protect their assets. Not that I think it's a good thing, the end result was annoying, it got taken down. Well, not taken down, but Take-Two tried to take it down. But I understand it. So yeah, that's where I sit on the whole thing. What about you?
Yeah, look, I thought that just first of all, looking at it, I was like blown away. I was like, Jesus, how did these guys do this? This is pretty impressive. And then I guess when you look at it from like behind the scenes perspective, you know, the logos, you know, pretty much they've just cut out, what was it, the Definitive Edition? I don't know if it was that. Like, it was Vice City.
Yeah, they cut that out and replaced it with Next Gen.
Yeah, Next Gen Edition. So that's already not good. Not to mention the fact that it's GTA 4's engine, and there's a lot of other things as well that, you know, pose a problem for Take-Two from an IP perspective. So, look, impressive. Like, I thought that just by looking at it, it was really, really good job. The fact that it was it four Russian developers that did it?
Yeah, four Russian developers.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible.
I think the thing that causes problems there as well is like they distributed all of Vice City's assets, so that's one like massive copyright violation, and then they redistributed the entirety of Grand Theft Auto 4's game engine, so that's another set of violations. Yeah. Then there was all of the music, which is another set of violations, as well as the radio stations, which were owned by Rockstar. And then, so I think it was just like, they said that initially they wanted to require a paid version of the game for people to play it, until Take-Two took down their YouTube channel, and then their general approach was F these guys and we'll release it for free. I think when they took that stance is when I decided, I changed my stance to that's not okay. Because like if they required people to actually buy a copy of Grand Theft Auto 4 and GTA Vice City to play the game, I think that would be fair. I think that's just because at that point it's just a mod, like because people have already bought Grand Theft Auto 4 and Vice City, so Take-Two is still getting paid, developers are still getting their projects out there. But when they decided to change that to we're going to give away all of these assets for free, that's where it's like, okay, now you're intentionally stamping on like the copyright. But I know a lot of the community have said that why won't Take-Two just work with them? But Take-Two can't. You know, Russia's a sanctioned country. And I'm not saying it's not these developers' fault, the circumstances of what their president, prime minister, whatever he is, decides to do.
Whatever he is.
But yeah, like, you know, like big tin of poo, Putin. But like, it's Take-Two legally can't work with Russian developers just because of sanctions, and if they did, Take-Two would get shut down. So like, let's not beat around the bush and pretend this is a 5-year-old playground drama. It's not. There's legal ramifications to this stuff. I don't know why they spent so long on a project which they knew that this would happen. They knew that there'd be legal ramifications. The project's still available and it's doing the rounds, but in my eyes, if they're that talented, which they clearly are, they could have just made their own game.
Yeah,
and people would have bought it.
Exactly.
I would have.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they, there was only 4 of them that did it and they were able to achieve that. Could you imagine? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a very good point, actually, now you bring that up. They could have easily just made their own game. Yeah, I guess.
Well, they could have done a Vice City inspired game. Where like they could have licensed the music. Like they even though they're in Russia, they're still able to license music for US markets. They could have done this the legitimate route and used many different services out there, and it probably would have cost them about 10 grand. But they could have crowdfunded that. I would have pushed it. I would have helped support that. There's many different ways that they could have carried this and handled this in a way that probably would have been a net positive for themselves, whereas maybe they didn't help themselves in certain scenarios. Like I said, I want to make it 100% clear. I'm not taking away from their hard work. The project was incredible. It is absolutely beautiful what they've done, and I'm a huge fan of the work they've done. But from a professionalism point of view, the way that they've carried themselves after, it hasn't done them favors from like the corporate side of things. Like being able to, like, no games developer would want to work with them now after doing this, because they put out a public statement shitting on Take-Two. And it's like, oh, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that ain't good. Look, incredible project, but the outcome of it is not the greatest. So
the end result is, yes, they've made something absolutely beautiful. Does that change whether... Does that mean that an artist that made a song in the 80s and paid for all of the production and spent loads of money getting a song ready, they should have their song stolen and redistributed through this game? No, that's not fair. And I'm not on about forget Take-Two. I've got my own issues with Take-Two. I've been very vocal about my issues with Take-Two. But it's just the fact that all of this stuff was stolen from other people that aren't big corporate companies as well, which that's where I'm a bit like, come on, guys.
Yeah,
do better.
It's pretty sucky to the original people that made it, So,
I've spoke to 3 developers that actually worked in the original Vice City. One of them's actually going to be doing an interview on the channel soon. One of them said that, look, he thinks it's really cool, but it is stealing. There is no 2 ways to cut it. It is what it is. And there's a million different other ways that they could have done this and got around the red tape. So yeah, if they just required people to buy the original games first, I'd probably think to some extent Take-Two might have left it.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Regardless of the fact that this is what the definitive edition should have been like, in my opinion, I reckon it should have been something along those lines. Like the way it's been done 100%. Is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it puts shame on the definitive edition. Like, definitive edition was crap. Let's not beat around the bush. Exactly. It was awful. It's not as bad now. I played it recently, and there are still some problems, but it was nowhere near as bad as when Grove Street Games cocked it up. Obviously, Rockstar went back through and fixed everything themselves. But yeah, I think this is way better than Definitive Edition. But then again, it's not. This isn't GTA Vice City. This is Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah. Exactly.
There is nothing better than the original Vice City. In my opinion, the Definitive Edition was just another way to milk Vice City and San Andreas and Liberty City. There is nothing. The original game was brilliant. I think it's just people can't. I don't know. I think it's maybe people don't like going back and playing PS2 games, which is fine. But I don't think there was anything wrong with the original version.
I think people just get fed up with the controls and shit, and they go, "Why can't I do this? Why can't I do this? Oh my god!"
Bro, I was raised on it with a Sega Mega Drive.
Wow, yeah, Sega Mega Drive. Man, that's a throwback. Ooh.
Yeah, I've still got it. Still got it.